Greetings everyone and welcome to a video review of Empire Total War, a rather dividing game in the Total War series. I'm Seth Kiparis, the Cynical Crud, and I'll be your guide for this video presentation. Today's question is simple to understand but rather complex to answer. What is Empire Total War? Just like the previous games in the series, it is a strategy game set in a specific period of history. Empire is set in the 18th century, from 1700 to 1799, and the goal of the game is to lead your chosen faction to victory. The game offers a tutorial for land battles and naval battles, for the first time in the series. Historical battles are now called scenarios, providing you with a fair amount of challenge. There are 5 of them, 3 land and 2 naval battles. I personally enjoyed the Battle of Feltenoy and Battle of Rosbach, because in them you're attacked by multiple armies and the map is unique in how it's designed. There's a mini-campaign that focuses on the creation of the United States, from the foundation of Jamestown, the French and Indian War, and the American War of Independence. It serves as a tutorial to explain the mechanics of the Grand Campaign. If you manage to win the war for independence, US of A will be available as a faction to play with, although it will start in 1783 and last until 1825. The Grand Campaign offers 11 factions to choose from, each having a few unique units and sharing most of their army roster with other factions. All of them have different starting positions, circumstances, and goals to fulfill. You can set the options for battle difficulty, campaign difficulty, set the time limit for battles, it can be 20, 40, 60 minutes or unlimited. You can choose between a short campaign, which lasts until 1750 and requires you to capture minimal amount of territories, a long campaign that lasts until 1799 and requires more territories to be captured with some key ones, domination that requires the most territories to be captured, and prestige, in which you play until 1799 and must acquire the most prestige points, which you gather by having the largest army, the largest fleet, having a powerful economy, and an enlightened nation. Let's move on to the gameplay. As always, it is divided in 2 parts, the Grand Campaign and Tactical Battles. The Grand Campaign is turn-based. You will manage your cities, armies, fleets, agents, and conduct diplomacy with other factions. Constructing buildings in cities has changed from the previous game. You can only build a few structures depending on the type of region capital. Your faction capital can build all important buildings. Minor region capitals can only build between 1 and 4. You can build a barracks that trains infantry and cavalry. An artillery foundry will grant you access to artillery units of various types. A theater will increase your income and improve the happiness of the population. A court causes repression, improving public order and grants better income. Settlement fortifications give you a fort for your capital, making it easier to defend in case of an attack. Unique buildings vary from faction to faction and can only be built in the faction capital. These buildings can be naval academies, royal military academies, exquisite government buildings, beautiful theaters, etc. To name a few, the French can build Arc de Triomphe, the Russians the Winter Palace, and the Americans the Independence Hall. However, those aren't the only structures that can be built. Smaller settlements can be developed from villages as time passes and the population grows. These settlements will become towns or ports, enabling you to construct more buildings. From towns you can build churches, inns, schools, and production buildings. Churches spawn priests and convert the population to your religion. Inns provide public happiness and spawn rakes. Schools enable you to research technology and spawn gentlemen. Production buildings provide you with extra income. Other structures outside the capital consist of plantations, fur traders, farms, sawmills, etc., each granting something special. Fur traders and plantations give you goods for trade. Farms give you income and food to prevent hunger. Logging camps give you income. There are 3 types of ports: fishery, trade port, and shipyard. Fisheries give you income and increase the population growth. Trade ports enable you to trade with other factions, improving your economic growth and income. Shipyards will grant you access to new and better ships. This leads us to trade. What is so special about it? You could trade in previous Total War games. That is true, but trade now plays a more crucial role to your economy. Nearly half your income is provided from trading with other factions, if not at the start, then later in the game when you are forming allies. This makes conducting war and diplomacy more important, as some factions might cancel trade with you if you agitate them too much. The income from trade depends on the number of trade ports you have, the goods from plantations and traders, and the number of factions that trade with you. There is a limit on trade partners, and it is determined by you and your partner's capability to receive goods. Factions might not be able to trade with you because their trade ports are full, they don't have trade ports, or they are landlocked. The trade path must lead to the faction's capital. The value of different goods is shown in the Government tab under Trade, giving you the necessary information to decide whether you should build sugar, tobacco, coffee, or cotton plantations. You also have trade theaters in which you can send your trade ships to gather goods, thus providing better income. The trade theaters are the coast of Brazil, the Ivory Coast, Straits of Madagascar, and East Indies. You have trade nodes, yellow circles with anchors on them. You put your trade ships here and you will improve your economy. Taxes can be set for 2 classes on the scale of a theater. That means you cannot adjust taxes for each province, only for everyone. You can exempt regions from paying taxes to improve public order and economic growth. You will trade and fight around the world, or rather a good part of it, because the Grand Campaign now consists of Europe with North Africa, Asia Minor, India, North America with Middle America, with a small part of North, East and South America. Armies still play the same role of expanding your empire by attacking other armies, conquering capitals, and garrisoning your own to provide public order and defense. Fleets also play the same role, dominating the seas and transporting your armies to their destination. Besides blocking ports, they can also raid trade routes, lowering the income of the enemy and increasing it for you. Both an army and a fleet have a zone of control. On the map it is shown as a yellow circle for you and a red circle for the enemy. If your army passes through the zone of control of an enemy army, there is a chance of it being intercepted. In that case you can withdraw, auto-resolve or fight. If an enemy army passes through your zone of control, you will be asked if you wish to intercept, giving you a chance to finish them off. There is a total of 3 agents: rakes, priests and gentlemen. Rakes are spies, saboteurs and assassins. Priests spread your religion to other provinces and convert the population to your religion, improving public order. Gentlemen are used to duel other gentlemen and rakes, or sent to schools to boost the research rate. Diplomacy is conducted via a tab that shows a list of major and minor factions. You can arrange trade, alliances, ceasefires, give state gifts, regions and technologies. Technology is a new feature in Empire Total War. In order to research new technologies, you will need a school. One school can research one technology at a time, and the turns required for it to be researched depends on the level of school and the amount of gentlemen present there. More schools will enable you to research more technologies simultaneously, but it will also cause more public disorder in the province, because the people will be enlightened and will require reforms and better standard. You have military, industrial and philosophical technologies that will give you benefits. Military technologies will grant you access to new units, combat techniques, equipment, firing drills, faster army mobility on the campaign map, etc. Industrial technologies will improve your economic growth and income. Philosophical technologies will give you a faster research rate and some better income. Newer technologies will unlock and require new buildings, so technological progress is dependent on the development of your provinces and vice versa. Generals are no longer family members. Now you just recruit them from armies, with a random age, skill, traits and followers. The traits are simpler than in previous games and are easier to influence. The traits now only affect your army, not the public order or administration in the capital. Generals can place forts on the map, which have their own zone of control, can be upgraded and don't vanish after one turn. Since generals don't affect a capital's status, there is a government that affects different aspects of your realm. Your government will consist of a president or a ruler, Head of Government, Minister of Treasury, Minister of Justice, Minister of Army, and Minister of Navy. The head of government determines the disposition in international relations with other factions, basically how well the other factions will receive your proposal and behavior. Treasury manages your economic growth and income from all your provinces. Justice ensures repression to all your provinces, giving a stable public order. Army will give you cost reductions in recruitment and upkeep cost. Same applies for Navy. In case you have regions in other theaters, like the United Provinces, you will get a special minister for that theater that will reduce recruitment cost, improve public order, and reduce the cost of town watch. There are 3 government types in the game: Republic, Absolute Monarchy, and Constitutional Monarchy. Republic will give you a positive effect on economic growth and research rate, but make it harder to repress the masses. It has lower and middle classes. Absolute monarchy will give you a happy nobility, easier maintenance of public order, and cheaper starting buildings, but a slower research rate and economic growth. It has lower classes and the nobility. Constitutional monarchy has no effect on anything. It has middle classes and the nobility, giving the nobility a small boost in happiness. In an absolute monarchy, the ruler may kick and change ministers how he wills. In a republic and constitutional monarchy, the ruler may change ministers' places and kick only one minister per turn, that minister being replaced by a random candidate. The ministers in a republican constitutional monarchy are chosen for a mandate of 10 terms, after which elections are held. In an absolute monarchy, the minister serves for life or until they are fired, and the monarch has double the effect on the government. If you wish to change your government type, you can do it via revolution. To do this, you will need to have a low public order in your home region for 3 consecutive terms, after which a rebel army will spawn, and you will be asked whether you wish to side with the rebels or with the government. If you side with the rebels and win, the type of government could change depending who led the rebellion. If the lower classes manage to win in a republic or absolute monarchy, they will form a republic. If the nobility claim victory in an absolute monarchy or constitutional monarchy, they will form an absolute monarchy. Should the middle classes overthrow a republic or constitutional monarchy, you will get a constitutional monarchy.